Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Guel PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, a BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. Indeed, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. We shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177. 0559-019-177. At the appropriate time, when I pick signals from the production team, we shall be activating the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Well up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Raw 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance ACET all risk fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm. Sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, you're welcome back. We are now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week.
The African Center for Economic Transformation, ACET, has held a roundtable dialogue on exploring opportunities for domestication of the AfCFTA protocols to drive trade and investment in Africa. The dialogue was meant to address the status of domestication of specific provisions of the AfCFTA protocols related to free movement of persons, including labor mobility. The dialogue also discussed how the continental trade is implemented, the strength and flaws of it, as well as review the outcomes to date and how effective it is in terms of AfCFTA objectives, while identifying key areas for support and improvement. The dialogue brought together relevant stakeholders in Ghana's trade industry. A senior director, research, policy and programs at ACET, Dr. Edward Brown, expressed worry that intra-African trade remains very low, as it accounts for 70% of Africa's exports when compared to other regions.
11 years now, and we're still at a very low level of intra-African trade. So it's important that we try and continue to collaborate. Given the endowments in each of these countries, the importance of trying to compete and ensure that your private sector is resilient and is competitive is very important. And that can only be done through inter-African trade.
A senior policy analyst at ACET, George Boateng, indicated that the AfCFTA, when rightly implemented and supported, will bring several prospects to the African continent.
What the trade deal provides us with is that Africans can really speak with one voice. That means it gives us the upper hand in negotiations when we go to the table with others outside the continent. And this, for me, is the most important thing that the trade deal offers. I mean, when we promote free trade, we are looking at it's being able to address the skills gaps in each country. We are also looking at labor markets, trying to solve the problem of skills mismatch, and also curb the phenomenon of the brain drain, which is now very prominent on the continent.
The principal researcher at ACET, Louis Yawafo, revealed some findings of a research ACET conducted under the continental trade.
There is no harmonization of institutions. I will wish that whatever is being done, the immigration ministry in Ghana will be replicated by Nigeria, will be replicated by other countries within the state parties. And that is where the difficulty, because if each is doing something separately, how can we harmonize to have the same thing? Lack of common identity document, as I said. Especially in Ghana, there is a lack of interinstitutional cooperation. Ministry of Foreign Affairs versus Ghana Immigration Service.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has once again demonstrated that it is capable of preventing oil spills and mitigating the spread of an oil spill during any unfortunate incident within the port environment. Over the course of the week, the Port Authority participated in the ongoing National Oil Spill Equipment Inventory exercise, where the Environmental Protection Agency and their Norwegian technical partners are assessing capabilities and preparedness of onshore and offshore facilities and resources in country to tackle oil spills. Indeed, the Environmental Protection Agency and their partners from Norway expressed satisfaction at the authority's human and technical resources available to fight oil spills.
We've been doing this for some time, and annually we've been having some national exercises at the Tier 1 and Tier 2 levels with GPHA for some time now. And we are very much impressed about the capabilities that they do have, and getting some additional information from them that they are getting some more of these capabilities in terms of the response equipment. We find that very impressive, and it's an asset for the country, and EPA is happy about it, because once there's any oil spill anywhere within our marine waters, we can fall on GPHA to support.
When you see all these ships around here, anything can happen. They can go grounding, they can collide and spill oil on the sea. And it's important to have equipment available within short time to try to get the oil off the water before it hits the shoreline, before it harms any wildlife, pollutes the beaches, and all this kind of thing. So to have equipment available close to a harbor like this is very important.
According to GPHA, the organization will continue to upgrade its capacities in order to remain a reliable point of call for Ghana so far as oil spill response is concerned.
What you saw today, we do it every month, but on every quarter basis, that is 3 monthly, we do physical drill simulations where we deploy the boom. Today we never deployed any boom because it will take you about 2 to 3 hours to deploy and recover the boom. But they felt it was not necessary to do it because of the documentations they saw as to the maintenance cycle and the drill plans. They said, okay, just run and simulate, let's see how it goes. And luckily when we did, because of the hard work we put in and the effort of management, okay, them seeing the wisdom behind all this thing, giving us all the resources, the backup, the confirmations and all that, we were able to prove to them that, look, it is not just having the equipment, but we have the men as well.
As part of efforts to continue to deliver on the mandate of providing suitable, safe, and hygienic facilities for fishing vessels and fish handling activities, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has refurbished the Fish Market Hall at the Tema Fishing Harbour. The refurbished Fish Market Hall, which took 7 months to renovate, cost the Port Authority 3 million Ghana cedis. During the reopening ceremony with the various stakeholders of the facility, the General Manager of the Tema Fishing Harbour, Engineer Kwabna Samoa, said the investment ties into the objectives of the authority to ensure that fish brought to the harbour are handled in a hygienic and conducive manner.
The fish market has been constructed many years ago, and the situation was very deplorable, very bad. When it rains, the roof was leaking badly, and the place was very unhygienic. So management thought it wise to invest in money to renovate the whole market, to bring it to a certain standard. In fact, we used 0.8 mm aluminium roofing sheets, which is very difficult to find on the market. And in fact, that prolonged the project a little bit because the contractor was not getting it on the local market and had to try to find it from outside to import it. But then later, Ghana came to our aid and started manufacturing for us purposely for this project.
The operations manager at the Tema Fishing Harbour, Adlina Amoyao, said the authority will ensure that the rules and regulations governing the use of the facility are adhered to.
We have formed a task force out of their executives. They are going to liaise with the operations unit and the security department to always inform us, because it's not always that you find ourselves around, so that whatever that happens there, we'll be able to take it up. And we have also come out with fines for people that engage in such activities. And we keep on, when you keep on doing that, then what you are trying to tell us is that there's no need for you to be at the fish market, and we have to take you out.
Similarly, the Tema president of the Ghana Inshore Fisheries Association, Joe Cremo, committed to play his role effectively to ensure that the activities of his members align with the expectations of the Port Authority.
We intend that this year, the new edifice behind us, that we shall make sure that we clean after we've closed, we sweep, and we do everything to make sure that here becomes even a tourist attraction. If we go to Takoradi Harbour, when people come from overseas, they go to Takoradi Harbour to see how they sell the fish and all that. Elmina is also the same thing. So we shall make sure that when the place is neat, people to come here and then what? As a tourist attraction, see our vessels, the wooden ones, the canoe, and then the Chinese vessels.
As part of efforts to encourage and sustain a healthy lifestyle among GPHA Takoradi staff, management organized the Health Walk and Games. The event saw a large number of GPHA staff, NSS personnel, and other stakeholders participating. Participants convened at the GPHA Senior Staff Clubhouse, where the walk began, and were taken through the principal streets of Takoradi, covering key landmarks such as Ghana Secondary Technical School, GSTS, Market Circle, and the Good News radio station. They were accompanied by melodies from the Evergreen Brass Band. After the walk, employees were taken through some aerobic exercises and fun games such as Ludo, Oware, Tug of War, and video games, among others. The Marketing and Public Affairs Manager, Dr. Kingsley Enchiboziako, was pleased with the response to the health walk and emphasized the importance of the port community's involvement in health and wellness initiatives.
We started around 5 a.m. It's been very impressive. We had impressive attendance. We thank everyone for coming. This means that, walking is one of the cardinal principles of good health. So we are grateful to our staff, the management team, the stakeholders.
He applauded the turnout and suggested that the event could be held on a regular basis to encourage healthy living and active lifestyles among staff and the port community.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. We are now going to take our word or phrase of the day. Remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is nautical mile. Nautical mile.
Nautical mile. This is a unit used for measuring distances at sea. 1 nautical mile is equal to 1,852 meters.
All right, so welcome back. We are zooming into our discussion proper tonight. And tonight we're taking a look at some policies introduced by the Ghana Revenue Authority. And this is the excise and gaming tax policies. Indeed, these particular policies have been introduced following the passage of the Income Tax Amendment Act, that's number 2, Act 2023, Act 1094. And, the Ghana Revenue Authority met senior editors and senior media personnel somewhere last week to, educate them and sensitize them on this particular new policy that they are going to roll out. It was supposed to take effect from the 15th of August. Tonight, we'll be finding out from some officials from the GRA whether indeed they have actually started implementing these policies and what it stands or how it is going to benefit the entire country. We've heard a lot of, fuss about this particular tax, 10% withholding tax and all that, and people are bringing about their perspectives and opinions. Tonight, we want to have an understanding of what it is really about and how it is going to help our country and our economy in general. So it gives me pleasure this evening to introduce to us Mr. Kwabna Anto Apel. Yes, Kwabna Anto Apel, who is the head of Excise Unit, Ghana Revenue Authority. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Also in the studios is Mr. Thomas Agozo. Sir. Agozo. Yes, he is the Lottery Tax Implementation Project Manager at the Ghana Revenue Authority. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to Iron Port. Yeah, so let me begin with you, Mr. Agozo, and find out from you why the GRA has decided to introduce these various taxes for the gaming industry.
Thank you very much, Ken. So it wasn't GRA. GRA, we don't pass laws. It was an act of parliament that introduced this law. But I must say that we had made some significant contribution to that law because there had been some implementation challenges with the way the gaming sector was taxed. Because of these challenges, most countries or tax jurisdictions have changed the way the industry is taxed.
Right.
So in the new Act, Act 1094, you will notice that there's a special section had been created for this gaming sector. It is now placed under special industries. That means that it has some peculiarities that makes it difficult to tax it the normal way. So that's what has happened. So by the introduction of the new taxes, which it's not exactly a new tax, but a replacement of two existing tax laws. The VAT had been operational on the sector since 2013.
Right.
And that meant that any gaming operator that accepts wager or stakes in any game of chance has to charge VAT. And so this has been in the books for a long time. And then also the entities or the gaming operators were required to pay corporate tax on their net profit.
Right.
But we have reviewed the literature and realized that Ghana is just one of the few countries that is still charging or taxing the industry like any other industry.
Right.
So the new taxes are that the gaming operators are going to pay tax on their gross gaming revenue.
Right.
And a token withholding tax had been imposed on the winnings by the players.
Right.
This is seeking to replace the VAT that they were previously charged on the stakes.
No, so you just mentioned the VAT. That's going to be my next question. Why you decided to remove the VAT model and then you scrapped it in favor of this particular new tax that you are rolling out?
Okay. So VAT is one of the efficient ways of mobilizing domestic revenue.
Yes.
And I must say once again that the data that I have reviewed, it contributes more than half of the total revenue we collect from the gaming sector. So for government to decide to replace it with a new tax, it must be coming at a very tough, on a very tough decision point. But what it means for us is that for any tax policy that is introduced, compliance is key. And we have noticed that because of the unique nature of the gaming operation, the industry had not been able to implement the VAT as per the law.
Right.
And we have been going back and forth several years.
Why is that?
Yes, there are peculiarities facing the industry. For instance, if you walk into a typical casino to play a table game, now the law says that you should be taxed on the stake. It means that for each successive play on the table, you will have to be made to pay VAT on the stake. And so that means disrupting the game at every point in time to say, hey, what is your VAT? Let's charge a tax. No, it was practically difficult. If you take the machine games, we call it route operations, where people put in coin. I mean, at the point of putting in the coin, the operator of the machine is not there. So he's only coming at the end of the day or the month to see what is available in the machine as his benefit. And so imposing VAT on this operation had been problematic across the world.
Right.
And so countries have changed or have adapted the way VAT is imposed. You go to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, this VAT had been scrapped and had been replaced with what we are dealing with right now.
Right. Now, tell me the dichotomy, draw the dichotomy, tell me the difference between the table gaming and then those machines where you insert coins. Is it the same thing or they are different?
No, it's not. With the table game, you have an officer of the casino monitoring.
Right.
They are not part of the game. So it's like playing spa.
Yes.
So it's just among the players.
Right.
So at the end of a round...
So just as we are sitting on the round table,
yes,
the game is going on, we are playing, like if it is cards, you know, if it is whatever.
Exactly. So what happens is that before the game starts, you go to a cashier to change your money into token or chips.
Yes.
And so it's the chip that you bring on the table to bet. Now, if you win the first round or you bet the first round, it's not fiscal money that you are betting with, but you have stake.
Yes.
And so tax must apply.
Yes.
Now, if you win, it's also a notional money. I mean, it's a notional benefit that has accrued to you.
Right.
Not until you are done playing the game and moving out, we are unable to tell exactly how much you've made. So these practical challenges are there. And so the industry had been engaging with government, with GRA, on the best way to still collect the same amount of tax revenue for government. Yeah, so that is where...
But how honest and sincere are these casino operators? Because, or do you post your staff to these casinos? Perhaps those that you know are quite vibrant playing these games.
Okay, so we don't often place our staff there, but it's a regular exercise we do. We call it monitoring.
Right.
We call it mystery shopping. Once a while, if we are not too sure that an operator is doing the right thing, we allow our staff to go and do mystery shopping.
Right.
Pretend to be a player, bet for us to pick information. I mean, this is a typical tax administration, and we have various tools to monitor operators. But where we are now, in order to generate the optimal or maximum revenue from the industry, we are planning or working on introducing a monitoring device or system that will be connected to the network nodes of most of these operators, such that a GRA will have 360 visibility of the operations. Yeah, that is what we are currently working on after the rollout of these new taxes.
Mr. Appel, I'll be coming to you pretty shortly, but let me just ask this particular question. It was a question I asked when we had a stakeholder engagement at OLISA.
Okay.
It has to do still with the the gaming thing and where the people insert the coins.
Okay.
I raised an issue about the fact that sometimes you go to these drinking spots, you go to pubs, you go to clubs, and they have these machines there. You walk in, you are there, and then people come to play, and then the thing kind of like they win a lot of money, coins. I mean, he inserts, and then the thing is just discharging the coins like that, and it goes. And sometimes you are there, and Chinese-looking guys comes with sacks. They pour all the money in there, and then they get away with it. Now, so if you are taxing this, it means that you'll be having a challenge because you might be fixated at the casinos when these nightclubs, these pubs, and drinking spots are operating the same machines. How are you going to be able to deal with this particular trend so that you don't leave any loopholes for people to get away with our money?
Yes, you are right. You've recognized that there is a challenge with the sector. So, for tax avoidance purposes, the machine operators have not been excluded because they also sit in a casino.
Yes.
There are two types of machines that you'll be seeing in a typical casino. One that accepts physical coins, and the other that accepts credit.
Right.
So before you go onto the machine to bet, you also convert your money into credit.
Right.
So the machine is able to record what credit you brought in and what credit you are going out with. So at the point of converting your win from the machine into money or cash, that is where the tax will be applied.
Right.
And so the issue with the cash operating machine is a big challenge, and we'll still be working on. But it's not too many. Most industries have moved on with the card or credit machines, and that we believe we'll be working on till we find a lasting solution with the machine, the cash machine.
Right. Okay. Let me come to Mr. Appel. Let's talk the new excise taxes. Tell us some of the products to be affected by these taxes.
Well, the new products that have come in include fruit juices, electronic cigarettes, liquids.
Is that shisha?
Not exactly, but
shisha.
we have, electronic cigarettes.
Okay, yes.
And then we have the liquids,
Okay.
electronic cigarette liquids. And we have also imposed excise duty on virtually all soft drinks.
All soft drinks?
All soft drinks.
Okay.
But previously we had excise duty on only carbonated soft drinks. Now we have extended the scope to cover all soft drinks, sweetened beverages. Let me put it that way. Previously, we were excising only carbonated soft drinks, as I said, like the Coca-Colas, the Fantas, those products that contain gas. But now we have also realized that
energy drinks?
Energy drinks.
Yes.
We've noticed that the other soft drinks equally are harmful.
Right.
Contain sugar.
Yes.
And the intake of them cause a lot of problems, health problems. The non-communicable diseases is on the rise. Diabetes, hypertension, and the rest. So I think we have expanded the scope, as I said, in terms of these products, so that we cover everything that is harmful. The intake of which is very harmful to the consumer. consumption of these products.
Now, is it just because of the health risks associated with these drinks that you have decided to, be fixated at it to implement this excise stamp, or there are other considerations, perhaps maybe revenue mobilization or something?
Of course, I mean, it's tax, so definitely it will bring in revenue. However, the focus, but we have also made amendments to the charging method on certain products like cigarettes and other tobacco products by introducing a mix, or what we call the hybrid, specific as well as ad valorem excise duty in conformity with the provisions of the ECOWAS protocol on the harmonization of excise duty in the sub-region, all aim at making sure that the consumption of these harmful products reduce. We try as much as possible to reduce by introducing fiscal measures.
Right.
Because once you introduce taxes, obviously the price of the product will go up. And it is anticipated that by introducing these taxes and the products, the prices going up, consumption will reduce. And it will be to the benefit of the consumer and the nation as a whole.
Now, what's the percentage of tax imposed on these products?
So,
is it also 10%?
No, so for tobacco, we have changed the charging method, as I said.
Yes.
We have introduced what we call the hybrid method.
Okay.
ECOWAS introduced a directive in 2017 requiring all member countries to introduce an ad valorem excise duty and a specific excise duty. The ad valorem excise duty component shouldn't be less than 50%, and the specific is equivalent of 2 cents, to be imposed on tobacco, cigarette.
Right.
And then other tobacco products are also to be imposed with the same kind of mix or hybrid system. And so it is expected that this will increase the price of tobacco. That will make it difficult for people to access it easily, and for that matter, curtail the consumption of these products. For fruit juices that have come in, we have introduced excise duty rate of 20%. That is also, and then the other sweetened beverages, the excise duty rate is also 20%. But certain products have not been touched. For instance, bottled water, like the one sitting in front of us, the excise duty rate was 17.5%. Previously, there was an erroneous impression that we have increased excise duty on bottled water.
Right.
That has remained the same. It's still 17.5%. But excise duty on products like malt drink has also increased from 17.5 to 20%.
Okay.
And then we had an anomaly in the administration of excise duty to the raise on some products. Probably it was only in Ghana that we had excise duty rate on spirits being lower than beer.
Right.
Or excise duty rate on beer higher than spirits. So we needed to correct that. And for that matter, we have increased excise duty on spirits like Jack Daniels from 25% to 50%.
The Jack Daniels, the black labels and all that.
The black labels and the rest, those are the spirits products. And then excise duty on to have been increased from 22.5.
Okay. All right. So it means that we'll be paying more for our favorite, liquors and some of these drinks that you just mentioned.
Yeah, but it is for a reason. You mentioned the revenue aspect,
Absolutely.
which is also key.
Yes.
But the consumption of these products,
harmful.
excises,
Yeah, exactly.
they are very
Sure,
harmful.
absolutely. Yes.
Excises are introduced essentially to control the consumption of harmful products.
Yes.
Products whose consumption is seen by government as unnecessary. So we introduce these taxes to make them expensive, so that the consumption, even if you can purchase the item, probably the quantity that you can will be reduced by the increase in the taxes on those products. Because we all know the effect of consumption of, say, the spirits on our youth.
Absolutely.
Our organs, the increase in, as I said, non-communicable diseases like hypertension, but cardiovascular diseases, tobacco smoking, cancers, and those kind of things. Death related to these kind of things is always on the rise. So it is important that government does something about this in order to improve the health conditions of the citizenry. Because in any case, I mean, if government says we always advise, we have experts advise that we should curtail the consumption of these products.
Yes.
Yet people consume. So what should government do? When people fall ill, attend hospitals, we need to put up infrastructure, buy drugs, and so there should be revenue, so that when people fall ill, definitely they will have enough revenue. Government will have enough revenue to take it up for them. So that is why these taxes are introduced. One, for revenue reasons, of course, and two, also to curtail the consumption of these products to protect our health, our own health.
So one of the impacts of this particular policy would be that there will be a dip, sort of, in imports. Have you considered that?
As I said, the main objective, I mean, the
is to discourage
is to discourage the consumption.
Yes,
even though revenue will fall,
yes,
what it means is that our expenditure on health-related issues will also go down drastically,
right?
And that,
we'll be saving some money.
Exactly. So, but see, the nature of these products, the price elasticity of these products is said that if we increase the rate of taxes on these products by, say, 50%, you are not likely to get 50% corresponding dip in the consumption of these products. Absolutely. That is why we say that they are inelastic. And most of them are addictive. Take them, you cannot move away from it. So we need to introduce these measures to control them, and also to internalize what we call the externality. Said that, if you fall ill, at least government will have something to cater for the citizens.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, let me come to Mr. Agoso and find out from you. This policy was supposed to kickstart on the 15th of this month, if I get it right. I just want to find out from you, were you able to start?
Yes, we were able to start on the 15th. And I think significant number of operators were on board. We were monitoring the situation. A few others who couldn't come on board had to do switch off. And so as we speak now, yes, not all of them are live. Those who also went live without fully complying had also been sanctioned.
Right.
Yes, by the Gaming Commission. So it's okay.
Okay. All right. So from this week on, you expect that you see some more, companies coming live, and then some compliance increasing and all that.
Exactly.
All right.
We are supporting them, providing them with all the necessary support. Those who are unable to meet all the requirements for coming live, we're also looking at other options for them, because they need to be in business or remain in business for us to make the revenue. So, we are supporting them.
Right. So we just want to find out from you whether those who went off have given any reasons for going off.
Yes. Before we went live, we had all agreed. The gaming operators, they have this association. We had Gaming Commission, the Ministry of Finance. We all agree that the industry is a bit fluid in terms of customer behavior.
Right.
If we have a few going live and others not, it's likely they may drive the market.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what we all agreed was that if you are unable to go live on the 15th, you do the honorable thing by switching off until you are ready. And if you decide to go live without fully complying, then we will have to do to
apply sanctions.
And that's what we have done on a few.
Have you had occasion to measure the reaction or to gauge the reaction of stakeholders in this whole scheme of things? Talking about the bettors, talking about the operators, talking about those who play the games.
Yeah, the reaction
since the announcement came, and there are those that have also even taken the political twists and all that. But we don't want to go into the politics of it. But we just want to concentrate on the players who are active practitioners of these particular games and all that.
Yeah. So the reaction had been a mixed one. Replacing VAT was a difficult decision for GRA. So we are not excited because we are losing so much for doing that. So industry, they are excited. Players are happy because there is no VAT on their stakes. and the operators do not have to go through the stress. In fact, some of them, it's not because they want to be non-compliant, but they had the practical challenges that made it difficult for them. So on that side, on the side of the VAT, they are all excited. The only challenge or issue we are trying to manage now is the tax on the winning. And I'm sure after these several media engagements, we will come to accept this over time.
All right. Okay. We pray so. I mean, this is a national thing, and it calls for our support. Mr. Apple, let me come to you. I want you to explain into detail what you mean by specific and ad valorem when you come to excise duties and all that. What these terminologies, what do they mean in the scheme of things as you implement this particular policy?
Okay. These are charging methods.
Yes.
That is the method by which we take the tax, from the product, or impose the tax on the product. So let me use this bottled water as an example, which also has trust excise duty. Ad valorem is a rate. It's a tax rate that is applied to the value or a value, like VAT. VAT rate, the current rate is 15%, which is applied on the taxable value. That could be the consideration or the amount to be paid for it.
Yes.
So currently, there is excise duty rate of 17.5% on this product.
Right.
So if this product is going for at the factory gate,
yes.
If it is going for, say, 1 cedi before the taxes are imposed,
yes.
What it will mean is that we are to charge 17.5% of the value of this product. So assuming the price is 1 cedi, you'll be charging 17.5% of 1 cedi. That will be the excise duty imposed. On the other hand, a specific is a charge based on some physical attributes of the product. So this is in volume, in liters. Or this volume, even though it's not indicated, is 500 ml.
Yeah.
So we can say that for every 1 liter of water, the excise duty on it is, say, 20 pesos.
Right.
So it doesn't matter the volume. Every 1 liter of water, that is bottled water, the charge will be 20 pesos. So if you have 500 ml, it means that the charge will be 10 pesos. So that is the difference. The difference is that for ad valorem, the excise or the tax is imposed by applying a rate of tax or excise duty, in this particular case, on a value. In the case of specific, the excise or the excise duty is determined by, the tax is charged based on some physical attribute of the product.
Right.
So for instance, when you say that, we are introducing specific excise duty on cigarettes and other tobacco products.
Yes.
In this particular case, the excise duty on cigarette is 28 pesos per stick.
Right.
It means that for every stick of cigarette
buy,
that you buy, the excise duty component, the specific aspect, is 28 pesos. And in addition to that, we also charge 50% of the value of the 1 stick. So now we have introduced the two, what we call the hybrid system.
Yes.
What it means is that we'll be charging 50% of the value, maybe if it is imported, the CIF or the customs value, as well as 28 pesos per stick of cigarette products. Of course, there are other rates applied to other tobacco products. So, for instance, 280 per net kilogram of all other tobacco products, is also to be charged, in addition to the 50% ad valorem. So, if you look at, or if you take any customs declaration form now, where you will see that the code, which normally, accounts for excise duty, that is 04, you will see the ad valorem excise duty of 50% for tobacco or cigarette. And then we have now created another code, 103, that takes care of the specific excise duty of 28 pesos per stick and any other tobacco product that the specific excise duty is supposed to be applied to.
Have you initiated or adopted any measures to ensure full compliance?
Yes. Essentially, currently, all tobacco products are imported into the country. So the customs system has been reconfigured to make sure that the new system of charging the tax is in place.
Right.
And again, we have a very key monitoring mechanism, that is the tax stamp.
Right.
So consequently, the excise tax stamp law has also been amended to make all the new products that are coming to tax, as far as excise duty is concerned, to also require the excise tax stamp to be affixed to it. And that is what the commissioner responsible for domestic tax launched on the 7th of August, this year, and gave the timelines that we are starting the program from the 1st of September, and then we are enforcing the excise tax stamp program at the entry points from the 1st of October, and then we'll give a transitional period of, say, 3 months, and then actual enforcement at the points of sale will also start from the 1st of January 2024. So the mechanisms we have outlined, we have reconfigured the system to make sure that the new taxes are all being charged.
Right.
So for instance, we know that at the domestic level, the manufacturers are charging the new excise duty of 50% on spirits, the new excise duty of 20% on malt, on the carbonated soft drinks, and all the other soft drinks, the sweetened beverages that have been introduced. And at the port too, we are doing same. So if you took any declaration again on spirits, you will see 50% instead of the previous 25%.
Right.
So this is what we are doing. And then the Commissioner General has also come out with practice notes, directives to guide all of us, officers as well as operators in the system, manufacturers, importers, as to what to do when such products are imported or manufactured into the country. So we are on course, and that is why we are also here to give us the opportunity to speak to our clients about what we are doing.
Right.
And we believe that together, the implementation of the new taxes, as well as the increases in some of the products, have already started. We started that in May.
Okay.
It is the tax stamp component, which is a compliance tool, that is yet to start.
Right.
And that is why the Commissioner has outlined the timelines, giving manufacturers and importers time to prepare so that we can enforce the measures come, the timelines that have been provided. Okay. September, we are all starting. 1st October, we are enforcing the new measures, that is the excise tax stamp at the entry points.
Right.
And then from the 1st of January 2024, you'll see officers going to town. That's what we normally do. Officers will be moving from shop to shop, inspecting products that are supposed to have the stamps affixed to them to make sure that they are all compliant.
Right.
That is the only way that we can make sure that the measures are working. Because, Ken, if you introduce new taxes, like we have revised the charging method on tobacco, trying to reduce the consumption of these products, increase excise duty on spirits, trying to consume the consumption of these products, and we cannot enforce it, you will not get the desired results.
Absolutely.
So it is important to make sure that the taxes are actually imposed so that they will have the needed effect to achieve the reasons for which these amendments have been made.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. I'll be coming back to you, and when I come back, we'll be talking about the textile stamp, which is also coming on board, or which has come on board already. But let me come to Mr. Agoso and find out from you what obligation you have placed on, the stakeholders, i.e. the bettors, the gamers, and the operators as well, and all others in the chain. And you also mentioned during your submission that sometimes the sanctions apply. You don't leave any body to chance or anything to chance. Tell me what obligations you have placed on them as far as this particular rollout is concerned.
Okay, so the sanctions are. We are not pushing the sanctions so hard now because we are all in the implementation stage. But there's few sanctions that are critical to effective rollout. The first one is that they have to go live based on the requirement that we have given them.
Yes.
So anyone who is unable to go live has to switch off. Yes, because that is an agreement we have all reached. And the few who have decided not to comply have been sanctioned officially through the Gaming Commission. network mobile money account have been blocked at the moment. They are working around the clock to fix the problem. But that would also not stop GRA from carrying out its enforcement actions against them. We just realized that closing a shop or two will not really make the impact, but targeting the source where the business system operates is the most critical. So that's what we are doing currently. The other obligation is that they have to file their returns. You know, they've started already implementing the tax on the gross gaming revenue. And that started 1st May. And so all operators in the country, except the National Lotto Authority, is required to charge and account for tax on their gross gaming revenue.
Yes.
That replaces their corporate income tax.
Right.
But when it comes to the winning, it's all gaming operators are included. There's none excluded as far as the law is concerned. So we are expecting that all gaming operators, betting, sports betting, casino, route operators, remote interactive games, any other game of chance. In fact, it also includes what we call the marketing promotions.
Okay.
Sometimes entities like to promote their product, and so they engage the National Lottery Authority to do promotions on their behalf. We are expecting that when you win in such promos, you are also required to pay withholding tax on your win. And so these obligations are key for effective implementation of the tax, and we expect all operators to comply. So we don't have anybody sanctioned.
All right, so if there are promotions that involves big prizes like vehicles, cars, how are you going to exact taxes from that?
Yeah, that's very simple. According to the rule and the directive issued by Commissioner General, the entity is required to use the market value of the item to determine the base for the return.
So if I participate in a promotion and I win a car, it means that I will have to alert you, or you are monitoring. As soon as I take delivery of my car, then you come for. Are you coming for it from me or from the organizers?
No,
of the
obligation is on the agency organizing
right.
And this time around it will not be the entity, the business entity running the promo, but they don't have the right to run such promo. They have to work through NLA through their Caritas platform. Yes. So now that means that NLA will be responsible for doing the withholding on behalf of the entity.
Okay.
Yeah.
The NLA led by the affable Samia Oku.
Sure.
Who is doing marvelously well, leading the pack over there. Okay, so have we spoken about computations about these taxes? Would you like to run us through? And we'll also take a look at the targets that you've made for yourselves. You've set for yourselves for the first year or the first half of the year, how much you're expected to rake in as far as these taxes are concerned.
Okay, so we'll deal with the computation. So there are two taxes we are looking at now.
Yes.
The operator is paying 20% on their gross gaming revenue. Now, the gross gaming revenue, by the law, is the total stake of the entity less the total payout.
Right.
So the amount of money they've paid to winners of the game. So they will aggregate all of that at the end of the month and do the, so you take the winnings out of the total stake.
Right.
And whatever money or balance is outstanding is what you apply the 20% tax on. So I'm sure the operators are fully aware of this one. But when it comes to the winning, by law, the tax is on gross winnings.
Right.
And by the definition that we have assigned it in the practice notes that everybody is required to comply with, is looking at the total payout to the player, and then you take out any amount of stake that is directly attributable to the win.
Right.
So if you bet 100 Ghana cedis, that is your stake.
Right.
And then you won, let's say, 1,000. You're saying that your takeout, which the entity will be giving the player, is 1,000.
Right.
Now that 1,000 includes the amount he or she used to stake. So the target is not on the investment, which is 100.
Right.
We'll be taxing the 900. That is how the system is supposed to be working. Unfortunately, by the time we'll be going live, most of the operators have not been able to configure their system to do this.
Right.
So we are now implementing the withholding on a phased approach. The initial phase is that when someone wins, you are not taking the tax at that point until the time the player decides to withdraw the win.
Yeah.
That is where the tax will be applied. That's a simplified version. At this point, or this first phase of implementation, and the player is the gainer, and the GRA is losing. So the experience will change over time as the entities begin to fully comply with the system.
All right. This is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at the new excise and gaming tax policies as it's been rolled out by the Ghana Regional Authority. Remember, the confirmation just came that it started on the 15th of this month, and it's ongoing, and they're expecting a lot more operators to come on board, to come live. Some have already come, and then they are looking to increasing the numbers in the coming days. And so this is what we're discussing tonight. With me in the studios, Mr. Thomas Agozo. Mr. Thomas Agozo is the Lottery Tax Implementation Project Manager at the Ghana Regional Authority. And also in the studios, Mr. Kwabna Anto Apel, who is head of Excise Unit, Ghana Revenue Authority. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Well up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance ACET all risk fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. My goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
You're welcome back. This is Metropolitan Television and the program is Eye on Port, and tonight we're trying to understand and appreciate the new excise and gaming tax policy as rolled out by the Ghana Revenue Authority. Remember, this particular policy derives impetus from the passage of the Income Tax Amendment Act, that's number 2, Act 2023, that's Act 1094, and it provides for them to be able to implement these particular taxes, and then these particular taxes and rake in some revenue for the state. And with me in the studios tonight doing the discussions Mr. Kwabena Anto-Apau, who is the head of the Excise Unit, Ghana Revenue Authority, and indeed Mr. Thomas Agoso, who is the Lottery Tax Implementation Project Manager at the Ghana Revenue Authority. I've been told by the production team that the phone lines have been activated. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Number to dial is on your screen, 02055283353. 02055283353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Let me come to Mr. Apau and find out from you if you can tell us something about, if you can brief us on this, excise stamp on textiles.
All right, Ken, thank you. Textiles were made excisable in the Excise Duty Act 2014 at 878, just so that it will qualify for tax stamp, which I keep saying is a control mechanism. Right. It's a compliance to ensure that any product that you see the stamp on it means that taxes have been paid or will be declared. Yes. So, in the 80s, the textile industry used to command a very, great height as far as our industrialization drive is concerned. Yeah. And that industry used to employ about 30,000 workers, Ghanaian workforce. So one would have expected that in 2023, that number should increase. Absolutely. Rather, it's going down. Currently, they employ about 3,000 workers. The industry is suffering. Over the period, government has introduced certain measures, injecting capital into the sector, introducing other tax measures like the zero rating of textile products manufactured in the country. But one difficulty that we have noticed is that the challenge is also coming from smuggled products from outside the country. These products, because they are smuggled, obviously will not pay any tax. And for that matter, that goes to reduce the prices of these imported products. That makes it difficult for the locally manufactured textile products that are complying to compete. Right. And so we found it necessary, government found it necessary to also extend the tax stamp policy to this sector. So in 2018, the Excise Tax Stamp Act 2013 at 873 was amended to include textiles as a product that will also require the excise tax stamp. Okay. So since
you would hold on for me, Mr. Apau. Let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Thomas, who's calling us from Kumasi. Okay. One return, then we'll continue from where you left off. Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Can you speak up a bit, please?
Okay, my name is Thomas. I'm calling from Kumasi.
Awesome. Please shoot.
Okay, so I want to ask the project manager.
Mm.
You know, when he was talking, he made mention of the fact that when you win the bet and when you attempt to withdraw, it's where the tax will be applied on.
Mm.
So we have come to realize that when you make a deposit on the betting side, and maybe one or two reasons, you decide to withdraw your own money back without even staking.
Mm.
No, the tax is being applied. He made mention that this is the first approach. In the subsequent, maybe going forward, if the main implementation is done, would these abnormalities be refunded to the players? I mean the stakers.
Have you gotten his question, Mr. Agoso? Yes, Thomas, if you are still there, can you come again? Your question.
Okay, I'm saying that.
Yes.
You made mention that when you win the bet
Mm.
and you decide to withdraw,
Yes.
it's when the tax is being applied on.
Right.
But we, the game players, those of us who stake the bet, we have come to realize that when you make a deposit onto the betting site and you decide not to stake anymore, but rather to withdraw your money,
Yes.
the tax is being applied on.
Tax is being applied on your own money, the money that you put in to bet, but deciding that you are not going to bet any longer.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so these are the challenges we are facing.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. You would get some response from Mr. Agoso. Thank you, Thomas from Kumasi. You can also call the number. It's right there on the screen, 02055285353. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I understand what where he's coming from. The first point I'd like to mention is that from our conversation with the gaming authorities, the mere fact that you you made a deposit without betting, you are not allowed to withdraw, okay, because of anti-money laundering issues. Yes. So when you place money in your bet account, you must bet before you're able to withdraw that amount. Now, the concern is that when they attempt withdrawing their deposits, the tax applies. And that's what I said. It's not the right approach. And so if you haven't bet and the tax is being applied on your withdrawal,
yes,
then you have to hold that conversation with the entity. It's not GRA matter. You need to get back to the operator to discuss possible refund issue. Right. Because the agreement we have reached with them is that you need to first consider even the stake in determining the amount on which the tax should apply.
Right.
So if there is no stake, then it's possible you'll be tempted to tax someone's deposits.
Absolutely.
But players should understand by now that the mere fact that you are taking, you decide to put an amount into your bet account does not entitle you to immediate withdrawal. You need to have bet or played a game with that amount before you are allowed to withdraw.
Right. Okay. So let's come back to Mr. Paul. You were telling us about the excise tax stamp on textiles.
Yeah. So Ken, I spoke about the fact that textile products was made excisable in the first that attached to the Excise Duty Act, just so that it will qualify for the tax stamp. Because for a product to qualify for tax stamp, it has to be excisable in the first place. And I also mentioned the fact that the industry used to do well in the 80s, employing large number of Ghanaians, and also mentioned the fact that the industry is also currently struggling, and that government has put in some interventions, and one of which is the Excise Tax Stamp law, which has been amended. In fact, it was amended in 2018 to make textiles one of the products that also require the affixing of tax stamp.
Right.
And so since 2018, we have been working on that project. And then the project was launched. In fact, it started from the Ministry of Trade.
Right.
Yes. The project was launched by the minister responsible for trade on the 12th of November 2022. And subsequent to that, executive instrument 73 has also been made by the minister responsible for finance, and then the program has the executive instrument mentioned that, the implementation of the program should start from the 1st of March.
Right.
And so even if you go to the market tomorrow, you will see some products that are already faced with the stamps. But the commissioner gave the timeline just so that we give, operators, manufacturers, importers, time to prepare and then implement the policy. So the commissioner said that from the 1st of September, we are starting the excise tax stamp policy. And that all importers and the manufacturers must prepare themselves to enforce the law.
Right.
And that again, from the 1st of October 2023, enforcement at all the entry points will begin.
Yeah.
And again, from the 1st of January 2024, enforcement at all the, points of sale, the market will also begin. And Ken, we have three types of...
So before we come to the three types, let's welcome Wisdom, who is calling us from Pokuase onto the show. Good evening, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Wisdom.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Can you speak a bit up a bit, please?
Hello.
Yes, great. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name, my issue is that
yes,
if you are making a policy or you are implementing a policy, I don't know the insight or the background check you have. This it's just like you are implementing. You just
hello, Wisdom. Wisdom, are you there? Well, I think we've lost him. He would try and make contact with us again. Yes, Mr. Paul, you said we have three.
Yeah, I was saying that we have three different types of stamps.
Right.
One for imported products with borderline, red, marked red. And then one for, locally manufactured products. That is with borderline, green. And then the existing products on the market currently. We also have to stamp all of them. We have what we call transitional stamps with borderline blue that will be applied to all the existing products. And then Commissioner launching the program also said that from the 1st of October to 31st of December this year, 2023, that is why we have the transitional period.
Right.
During that period, traders are free to sell the products, but they have to make the effort to acquire the transitional stamp to be affixed to their existing products. Because come January 2024, without the stamps, you cannot put the products on the market.
Right.
So we will advise that all holders of stock of textile products, and textile products, we are talking about African prints, like the one I'm wearing, African prints, essentially, not suiting materials or any of those things, African prints, those that are made by our local manufacturers. All holders or dealers in those products must approach the nearest GRA office and apply for a quantity of stamps. And under the law, excise tax stamps are to be affixed to what we call product unit. And for textile products, the product unit is 6 years. It means that every 6 years is going to have one stamp. So you check the number of 6 years that you have and then apply for the requisite stamps to be affixed to those products. And we also require that for the new products that have come in, we require that manufacturers are to visit our offices and then apply for registration, because otherwise they will not get a tax stamp and the enforcement come and their products will be seized. So it is important that they comply with these.
Awesome. Let's go on to the lines. Al-Hassan is calling us from Tamale. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Al-Hassan Kaula.
Alafibiani.
Gombiani.
Gombiani.
Tichama.
Please, sir, I want you to ask the one in charge of the Lotto this thing. For instance, I win a sporty bet, 800 Ghana. And after I did the withdrawal, the tax, the 10% tax government put on was deducted. And when I was to do the withdrawal back to my wallet again, I was deducted another form of tax. So I called Sporty Bet to find out, but I could not get the understanding. So I want to find out from the tax this thing there.
Mr. Agozo,
Is it that, and somebody through call at the first time, that sometimes when you deposit money and you didn't even stick the bet. For instance, yesterday I deposited money trying to go in for a bet, which when I realized that if I go in for the bet, I may lose. I decided to withdraw the money back and I was taxed. So ask him, we want to know, how do they charge the tax component? Is it that when you win, they charge it based on the withdrawal, or when you withdraw the money into your wallet that they charge? We want to know. Thank you.
Okay, we will know, but I also come for my share because you are my brother, so I'll come for my share last time. Thank you very much for calling, though. You can also call, the number is right there on your screen, 02055285353. Yes, Mr. Agozo.
Yes,
can we get some response from
should remember to share with me also. So like I said, the experience will be, the experience now is that when you do your withdrawal, the tax will apply, okay? The plan arrangement is that when you win, the tax will apply.
Okay.
See, that means you'll be paying more at that point. At every win, at the end of each game, you are required to pay the tax.
Right.
But because of the system modification configuration, the approach that industry had agreed with GRA is to withhold on the withdrawal.
Right.
So we don't expect someone to be taxed on the win, and then also taxed at the point of withdrawal. That is what I said. If you happen to overpay, or you feel that you have been made to pay more than you are required to pay, then you have to report to your operator. But I have taken note of this particular case. Okay. We'll follow up for him.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Let's welcome Salif, who's calling us from Ashaiman. Good evening, sir. You happen to be our last caller.
Good evening, boss. I want to contribute to your program.
Hello, Salifu.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, evening, I can hear you. Evening, I want to contribute to the program, please.
Please go ahead.
Why is it that now we cannot even do anything right? Simple thing. You say you are taxing the people. Now we are seeing overtaxing here and there. When you deposit, you want to take your money back. Tax. When you win, tax is being deducted. When you are taking the money into your wallet, tax is being deducted. Why is it that we cannot even do anything right? Not even anything right. What is happening? So we just jump into anything. What is going on? We cannot even get anything right. It's a worry. Please, they should stop deceiving us. They should stop deceiving us.
Right. Thank you very much. Salifu is pouring some vituperations here. I think you heard him. Can you proffer some response?
Yeah,
because everything has been passed.
We know it's not easy. Well, all that we are seeking to do now is to replace an existing tax that imposes more burden on the player.
Absolutely.
You see, we said it up until 1st January, the tax was on the stake, which is, if you put all together effectively, it's about 21%, the VAT and all the levies. And if we had gone ahead to enforce the VAT on players and operators, I'm sure the noise will be louder. So this is clearly a good replacement to allow players to pay a token of their wins to government. Thank you.
All right. So I just want to find out from you, do you have any specific project that these revenues that you are raising would go into, or yes, there's no targeted project?
Not really. This is part of the...
And that brings me to my question about revenue targets that you have set for yourself as far as this particular tax is concerned.
Okay, so for this particular year, there hadn't been specific targets for the gaming, even though there is about 1.2 billion assigned to the various task measures that
not just only the gaming.
Not just the gaming.
It encapsulates everything.
Everything.
Okay.
We have the excise, we have the growth and sustainability levy, and a few other amendments that have come up in Income Tax Amendment Act. All these put together is expected to generate that amount. But what we are doing, 1.2 billion.
For how long? 1 year?
Yes, for 1 year.
Okay.
But you know, the law was passed late in April, and so not much is expected at this point. We're hoping to take off really well next year.
Absolutely. Awesome. So let me come to Mr. Apo, and find out from you how this particular measure of introducing the excise tax stamp on textiles would help improve the industry. You made, some revelations about the jobs that it employed some time ago and what the current numbers are. And so this particular measure is aimed at shoring up, and protecting the local manufacturers and doing away perhaps with smuggled or counterfeit products, if I'm right. Exactly. So tell us how this particular, we have barely 3 minutes to wrap up.
So Ken, you realize that the measure is not just to shield local manufacturers against other businesses.
Right.
It's to introduce fairness and equity in the payment of taxes.
Even playing field.
Exactly. Okay. Because it cannot be that whilst others are paying their taxes, others are not paying and taking advantage of the situation.
Right.
What government seeks to do is to make sure that everyone is paying what the person is expected to pay. A manufacturer or an importer. And the thinking is that if one is paying, tax obviously increases the price of products.
Absolutely.
It's a cost indirectly. It's cost. So it increases the price of the product. So if any person, importer or manufacturer succeeds in not paying the tax or charging the tax, the person gets away with so much. And they can conveniently compete against any compliant taxpayer.
Right.
So those that will be paying the tax are being killed. Their businesses are being killed. And those who are not paying the tax are having a field day. The government is not getting anything. Meanwhile, you're also collapsing those that will be collecting the revenue, also employing Ghanaians. So the whole idea is to make sure that if you are bringing your products from outside or even being manufactured, because the products that are also manufactured in the country are also going to have the tax stamps affixed to them.
Right.
Government is not introducing any new tax. In fact, the excise duty on textile product is zero.
Right.
It's zero. The measure is just to make it excisable, as I explained earlier, so that the product can have the excise tax stamp affixed to it.
Great.
It is hoped that if everybody is paying his or her tax, it will level the playing field for all players to, because as we explained earlier, the problem has been that we have porous borders. We are unable to man all the borders. We have our custom officers, doing fantastic at the entry points. However, we have so many entry points, and the challenge is that you cannot patrol all the borders. But then if you introduce the tax stamp, an affixing of which will indicate that taxes have been paid on the product, and then we make sure that every product on the market is compliant, then we level the playing field for everyone to operate.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kwabna Anto Apau, who is the head of Excise Unit Ghana Revenue Authority, and indeed Mr. Thomas Agoso, who is Lottery Tax Implementation Project Manager, Ghana Revenue Authority. Thank you very much for obliging us and for coming to discuss this very important topic with us tonight on Iron Port. We'd like to say a very big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Gwell PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA. We entreat you to watch the abridged version of Iron Port on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. And we also entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here. And God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Iron Port. My name is Kennedy Mona. We wish you a super week ahead, and we say enjoy the evening. Good evening.